right, hello everybody, and welcome to Theorycraft Thursday. I myself am Ursinity. I'm here with my co-host Proud. Hello, Proud.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
And we are, of course, everybody's favorite D&D recap summary podcast. We are the podcast that you go to get the recap of all 600,000 D&D shows that take place on YouTube and on various other podcast feeds. We listen to every single one of them at 19 times speed. Then we wrap them all up and give a full summary in the space of real fast. Maybe an hour. And then, you don't need to actually spend the 1,000 billion hours listening to all of them. So yeah, that's it. Before we start recapping all our D&D shows and maybe or maybe not talking about Dota 2, let's talk about how Unicorn is sponsoring this episode. We'll talk more about them later, but that is Unicorn, UNIKRN. So, Proud. Hey. How's your week in Dota been treating you?
Fucking awful.
Really? Okay, I feel somewhat similarly.
Backwards messaged me, I want to say like 2 or 3 days ago, and his exact quote is, "Every single game I've spectated of you this week, someone has been intentionally feeding or ruining the game." And he's not wrong. There was a very large percentage, like even just today, I got on the first game I was going to play of the day. What was I playing? Oh no, I guess this was like the second. So I was gonna play carry. Like I marked it, and then after a whole pick is finished, someone just like mouses over safelane 2, and I'm like, and I don't like they selected Juggernaut and shit. Like they were gonna take carry from me, and I was like, I don't want to create a fucking fight. I'll take off lane. It's not a big deal. And then as soon as I do, and I pick my fucking centaur, and then this dude says like, I don't know, apparently like Storm was in his last game and he didn't like the Storm, and he was just like, this game's lost, I'm not even gonna try, and just like picks anti-mage into like obvious counters, and then we just fucking like get hosed. This ending score was 27-8, and it was like, I fucking gave up my lane to you and you're gonna just give up? Like that's been my week basically. A lot of games, I mean, we're playing Tiny this week, as you can tell from the episode, and a lot of the most awful games have been when I was Tiny, so that's been very depressing. But I've been doing fucking stellar with the hero.
Or this game, rather.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I can talk about Tiny for a while, but that's pretty much been it. I've played a lot of OD games, like push come to shove, I know I can solo carry a game on OD. Like, I know I can win mid, and then I can just become a carry and then kill literally everyone. Yeah. So at least there's always that to fall back on. And I just haven't lost a game on Sven. I don't know what it is. Like, he's not that different, but just... And he's like, he got nerfed. He should be worse, but he's just... Like, no matter what, a Sven game is a one game.
Yeah, I played him once, and I'm definitely not a Sven player in the first place, but I had a game, I think the enemy team had a Meepo, and I was just like, I have to play Sven. Yeah. And it was just miserable. It did not go well. Then again, it was a Meepo game, so of course we lost, because Meepo is wild OP.
Even worse this week. So some of my awful games have been like, a Meepo was picked. Like, I want to say, what game was it? I think it was the last game where I was Tiny, and we had a Meepo mid. Let me see here. Yeah, we had a Meepo mid against a Brewmaster of all things, and the dude ended the game 3-11. Like, how do you play Meepo and fucking lose to a Brew? How does that happen?
Gosh,
I don't know, but this dude fucking made it happen. But yeah, I've had two games where I was like, oh god, I have the Meepo on my team this time. Thank God, finally a fucking easy game. And they just like feed out of their fucking minds. I was like, that's not how Meepo works. Meepo's fucking broken right now. He got like an 8% win rate increase. And he's, like a difficult hero to play. So if that guy's ever chilling at like 54%, something's fucked up with him. And that's the case, man.
People always argue about whether or not Dota should have a forfeit option, and 99% of the time I say no, it's stupid. There's no reason why Dota should have a forfeit option. That's dumb. But then I play a Meepo game and I'm like, please, all I want to do is give you my MMR or give you this win and save myself from this misery, because it's probably the only hero that truly creates insurmountable leads. In my book, like, if the enemy team is a really fed anti-mage, sure, it's really difficult, but it's still, like, you can salvage a game sometimes. But if a team has, like, a Meepo at, like, 22 minutes that has 4,000 health, and he has 1 billion movement speed on all his Meepos, because now Agi gives you movement speed, and it's just like, there's nothing we do here. Like, there's no win condition. It's just we wait, and maybe we lose fast or maybe we lose slowly, but we lose no matter what. And it's the only time I want to forfeit is playing Meepo games.
I just wish I knew what beats Meepo mid. I just don't know. Shadow Fiend, maybe?
I mean, he has all that magic resist, though, right? Doesn't he have,
but I mean, Shadow Fiend can, like, get enough damage that he can just, like, kill Meepos.
I guess. I mean, I would just probably play OD, and then when he tries to, like...
OD is awful against Meepo. Are you fucking stupid? Are you just a dumb human? OD sucks against Meepo.
But you should... Well, then again, you
imprison one of them, and the other one can still killing you.
No, it can still killing you. But the thing is, you can just bully them with Astral. With Orb Punch thing. And then you ult them because they don't build any int.
Yeah, let's see. I think I tried that. There was an OD game where I was against Meepo, which is where, okay, this was also an 18-point loss, so that was part of it. But let's see, what build did I go?
The only issue I see in that, for sure, while you're looking that up, is that your Orb...
No, I did go Orb.
Yeah, you can't spam Arcane Orb until, like, you're at least level 3 or 4, so by then Meepo's had enough time to, like, get a second Meepo at least, and then, so maybe that's correct.
You always need 1 point Astral, and then you get your Arcane Orb at 3, and then you get your second point Aura at 4, and by then he's got 2 Meepos, and he's been, like, he auto-attacks for, it's like 120 damage by the time he's level 4. Like, he's got, like a Quelling Blade, and then a second Meepo, and they both do about 50 damage at that point, so... Like, I can't deny him, and I can't outlast hit him. So what the fuck do I do?
Yeah, God, there's definitely an answer that I just can't think of.
I know Shadow Fiend is good for it because you can always get your last hits in like the first couple waves, and that's like if Shadow Fiend can do that, he does well, and then you can just actually bully the Meepos with right clicks. But OD fucking sucks for it because you like steal int from one of them, and then the other one like just kind of like backs off, and they still just like have mana forever, and then they just like swap around and go heal, and like you can't keep up that. There's like you just don't do anything, and you can't kill him. Like you just can't kill a Meepo. Like what are you gonna do? Right click him for like the entirety of the laning phase? That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Gosh,
Viper,
I'm just looking.
No, Meepo gets like overwhelming, and then Viper just fucking loses. Like Viper doesn't do well against a farmed Meepo.
Maybe like a Razor. I don't know.
Nah, it's
regardless,
like
it sucks.
Any hero I think of, he just like piles on you, and you're like, I can't beat all of these humans. There's too many.
Yeah. I don't even know what I play against Meepo either. Like, because I've definitely played against Meepo mid.
And Wyvern,
I mean, like mid laners.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, well, like you can't like TA. He has a dot in his fucking auto attack.
Oh yeah, definitely not TA. Like I'd probably pick Lina against it. That would probably be my go-to just because of my comfort on Lina and Lina being okay. But the fact that he takes so little magic damage. I mean, not that he takes like none, but he has what? He has 30% magic resist, doesn't he? Have
35, I think.
35. It is definitely noticeable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably just pick Meepo against it. Regardless, though,
Monkey
it sucks.
King maybe. Monkey King would be good.
Oh, Monkey King would be cool.
But he's a bad mid in general.
Yeah, but then again,
you can't just like pick
Meepo.
Monkey King and be safe against Meepo. Yeah, but like then I don't know. That's like the issue that I was having is that I didn't know of any. Like, the worst thing is the last pick Meepo, right? So it's like, what mid can I pick that won't be fucked by last pick Meepo? Like, what mid is good in general and then can deal with Meepo? Like, Invoker maybe because you have so much AoE control, but I don't know.
But you just get dominated early because you suck at the
no
first
matter
few
what
levels.
you do, this fucking hero is insane. All right, we can go on. Fuck Meepo, though.
Yeah. So, let's see. My week in Dota has been... I had a really fun Invoker game, but I've been meaning to try Kaya Invoker, and I still just haven't because I find
Where did you fit it in?
Well, that's the issue, is that you'd fit it in. Like I lost to one today that did Treads, Ags, Kaya, and it was pretty interesting. His team was dominating us, though, so it wasn't like a really good example.
Yeah.
But I feel like Kaya is a nice pick if you're not having a stellar game, and it's just kind of like, I need an item that helps me fight. And you can kind of get a Kaya as like a transitioning item after Aghanim Scepter and just have
you get like Kaya instead of Midas or something?
I don't think so.
The thing you just listed didn't include Midas.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. He went Midas first. Yeah, he went like brown boots with a null, and then Midas, and then treads, and Ags Kaya. But yeah, it's just hard to fit into a build because if you're having a good game, you have way too much money and you're like, all right, I need to build an Octarine, I need to build a Lincolns, I need to get BOT. And you're having a bad game, then maybe you think, all right, I just need something that's going to help me fight. I really do think Kaya has potential in Invoker. It's just kind of like you need to find that sweet spot about where it's good or not. Other than that, let's see. I had a lot of fun playing Drow Ranger earlier this week. Let's see. I played it with a sniper mid. Dude, Drow's awesome. I love Drow.
I've never really seen you play Drow.
Really? I have let's see.
Literally never.
How many Drow games do I have? I have a decent amount of Drow games. I have 22 Drow games, which is
okay. That's
a decent amount.
Some.
That is definitely some. Other than that, no. I'm just nothing else exciting. I played a Pangolier offlane game today because it's been like super rising win rate. It sucked. I was really bad, and then we lost.
Okay.
Like we did not lose exclusively because of me, but I was not very helpful in terms of winning the game. Yeah. I had a few nice team fights once I like figured out my abilities. Right. But my issue was I don't use quick cast on most heroes, and on Pangolier, without quick cast, his swashbuckle is basically unusable. I was missing swashbuckle.
It's really not that bad, honestly, because like
really,
all you do is you just. I mean, I use quick cast, but not using quick cast is it's the same number of clicks because all you do is like you press the button and then you click, drag, release, and then it's done.
Oh, see, I wasn't clicking and dragging without.
Oh, you were like clicking and clicking.
Yeah, I thought it was a click.
No,
I was wondering why this wasn't working.
You can do a click. You can do a click, drag, release. I think.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what I was doing.
That would make sense, but again, I didn't try that because it's not very like intuitive. I even looked up a video on like I was dead at one point. And I was like dead for 30 seconds. Like I just Googled like Pangolier swashbuckle how to use. Yeah, and that person was using quick cast. I was like, this is not helpful at all. So I just put quick cast on. Yeah. But once I had figured that out, it was fun. But I just was kind of behind, and I just wasn't comfortable in the hero. And the enemy team had they ran like PA, Invoker, and AM. They had like an aggro duo lane of PA and Bounty Hunter. They had a mid lane Invoker, and their safe lane was like AM plus Coddle. And it was just miserable. Like somehow both AM and PA had Battle Furies at like 20 minutes, and Invoker had like Treads Midas. And I was like, right, there's no possible way we win this game. Like,
are Invokers like buying Treads now? That's 2 Invokers you've said of Treads.
I buy Treads sometimes. I don't do it always. I like the little bit of HP you can play with Treads, and it's just like a nice item. I don't know. It's like a good if it's a game where I'm not going to buy BOTs early, I buy Treads on Invoker occasionally. In a lot of games recently, I have been getting fast BOT, but if it's a game where I know I don't need to buy BOTs fast, if I'd rather have like Blink and Ags and
you are the only one who calls Travels BOT.
Really?
Yeah, you call them Travels or Bots.
Bots? I guess.
Boots of Travel.
I like BOT. I think it's
BOT
like
3 syllables. Call them Travels, man.
Travels.
I get Travels. I got my Travels.
I got my BOT.
Okay.
I don't know. Regardless, I buy them if I'm not getting BOT fast. Because some games I'll delay BOT until like 4th or 5th.
You got to stop talking about Travels.
Okay, all right.
It's driving me mad.
Okay, all right. Other than that, no, nothing too exciting in my week in Dota. But a really bad Terrorblade game. That was not fun.
Good
and
to know.
I had a really good Chaos Knight game. My first Chaos Knight game of the year, probably.
Yeah, did you?
I never played that hero.
Finally, are you okay with it? Was it acceptable, or were you revulsed?
I mean, I still don't like the hero. I know. Let's see.
Whatever.
Why did I pick this hero this game? I picked it because the enemy team had Jug and Wind Ranger and a Faceless Void. Those are their 3 cores. And I just wanted to punch a Jug to death. So I was like, all right, what do I need to do this? All right, I need a tanky hero, and they don't have any AoE disable other than Chronosphere, I guess. Because their supports were a Venge and a Pudge. So I was like, right, they don't have AoE disable. And the game, we won, and I had... Let's see. I ended the game. I went Midas, which I only did that because I had a really easy lane farming. I went Midas, Treads, Armlet, Echo Saber, Heart, AC. And I basically just showed up at this game ended at 38 minutes. At 28 minutes or so, whenever I hit level 20 and got the 15 strength, I just showed up and I was like, yeah, I have 3,800 health now. What are you going to do? Like, there's no counterplay to this. Like, I just exist and I have a billion health and a billion health regen and a lot of armor. And like, you guys just lose now. Like, that's just how my Chaos Knight game went. And it was very fun.
Yeah, CK is very good.
But yeah, I really don't like the hero. I just kind of had a really good game on
All
him.
right, let's talk about Dota instead of how our weeks
that.
in Dota have been.
Let's do that. So our segment for this week is all about setting achievable goals and then reaching them. This is spurred by the new ranked system, probably having come out by the time the show gets released. We're recording this Tuesday night instead of Wednesday night because of the in-houses. And so we don't know if it's come out, but it should have come out. Technically, it should have come out already today, but, you know, whatever. Valve time, XD.
Valve time.
So for the new rank system, we're all going to be setting goals, whether it's public goals or private internal goals that we keep to ourselves and then cry about when we don't hit them. What is your... Do you have any specific goals for the next rank season, Proud?
I would like to be more consistent and not lose 400 MMR in 2 days or gain it in 2 days.
Uh-huh.
I want to stop having that happen.
That's a good goal. I mean, that's like maybe the most responsible goal. I can imagine, that's for sure.
Yeah, it would be great for my mental health.
I can imagine. Do you have any specific methods that you think you're gonna approach that goal with? Like, are you going to play more selectively? Because I think that would be like the obvious answer to the problem, right? Is just to play more selectively at times a day. See, this is a problem because you only ever play ranked and you play Dota constantly. So that goal.
Oh, I was actually going to go the thoughts and prayers approach and see how that worked out for me.
Oh, I'm sure that would have gone great. I'm sure that'll solve all your problems. So
yeah, most likely so.
What is what are you going to do to reach that goal of playing more?
I don't know, dude.
Dota?
I've been trying. I don't fucking know.
Okay, so if I were to approach this segment and create a fix to your problem, if you were a nameless listener, I would say, like, the more logical thing to do that I know is not going to happen is to play Dota more selectively or play ranked more selectively. And
okay, see, that's not logical. That's like, so here's the conditions. I want to play Dota a lot and I want to only play ranked, but I want to be less erratic in those games that I am playing. So the solution can't be don't play Dota.
Yeah, okay.
That doesn't fucking work. That's not my situation.
I suppose
it's like
that's
one of those
fair.
problems. Like, there's a train going at this amount of power, and then there's this train going at this amount of power. And it's like, well, you should have taken an airplane, you idiot.
Yeah, what if there wasn't a train? How about that? Yeah. Well, that's fair. Actually, I can't argue with that. I was trying to avoid the problem. I mean, get a new hobby, I suppose, is the solution to that problem.
Have you considered building models?
Yeah.
You can't lose at that.
Trains.
I should have gotten to trains.
Yep. So, I mean, one other possible solution one could think about is just playing a more let's see, what's the word? A smaller hero pool and just focusing more in on that specifically.
Yeah.
It's definitely an option. So the key moving this away from your specific goal.
Yeah, I'm a special case. That's not like a goal that like, hey, I fucking lose 800 MMR in 3 days. How do I fix this? Like, I don't know, dude. That's a big fucking thing. Like, we can't. We're working on like how to die less, not how to revolutionize your fucking mindset.
Yeah, I suppose this kind of gets to my larger point in that when you are setting goals for a new ranked season, or just in general, you have to clearly define what is a reasonable goal and what is an unreasonable goal. And kind of like a lot of people, they take goals as very small. They orient themselves to accomplish minor goals that accumulate in one larger goal rather than saying
something more applicable. There was a time a few weeks ago where I was like, man, I can't get to fights. All these fights happen and I just can't get there. And they always transpire when I'm like not around. So I need to be closer to my team or be more mobile or something like that so that I can be at these fights. Because there just kept being like 4v5 fights that we would lose. And then I would like TP maybe as we were like finishing losing them, and then I would die. Or I just wouldn't come at all. And I was just like a shitty, useless carry. So I resolved to like play more heroes I started playing co-op mid only because I could just blink and fucking be there all the time, or I play a lot of Sven because I have like blink and then two extra movement things I could use between Mask of Madness and my E. But I wouldn't play things like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a carry that is fucking like immobile shit that I was playing. Yeah, like CK or Luna or something. Like, yeah, she's fast, but I'm like split pushing and farming, and I just use my Manta, and then I need to like go to this fight. I'm like, I can't run across the map. I can TP, but like I wanted my Manta. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like playing heroes that are more readily available to like go places is how I kind of fixed that, and then I eased back into my other stuff after I kind of had that issue taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example, right, of the smaller goals, and then that accumulates into a larger goal of, the simple goal that I think most people are going to have is just like, hey, I want to gain MMR, or I want to learn a new hero, or whatever, or a new role. And I think the key thing to think of is now with the new rank system, these seasons are 6 months long, right? So it sets a very clear deadline for personal goals, especially if you do like tell your friends and make your goals more public. That's one of the common ways that, you self-motivate by putting pressure basically on yourself and saying, all right, I just told 10 people that I'm going to hit 5K. I got to hit 5K. Otherwise I look like an idiot.
Yeah. Like Bakugo in the tournament arc, you got to say, I'm going to be number one. And then everyone hates you and you got to put up or shut up. Right.
Yeah, you got to be number one.
Got to be number one.
Yep. So that's going to be what I plan to do. Obviously, my goals are a little more public due to the nature of the podcast. But in the next 6 months, I think my goal is to hit the 5,500 mark at least or whatever the equivalent is, whatever the new banner system is. But I'd like to break that 5,500 mark, and I think that's a very reasonable goal that I don't have to... I think it's a reasonable goal, basically. And that's my point, is that 6 months is a long enough time that you can set a goal that is a little bit of a stretch, but still very reasonable, and feasibly hit it without too much stress as long as you focus. Whereas if I said I want to hit 6K in 6 months, well, I'd have to really grind for that. Like that would be like a much more unrealistic goal, although potentially achievable, unlikely.
I don't think that would be achievable.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be achievable unless you were like a player that was like a 7K player boosting or something.
Yeah, unless you were already
just a ton of Dota.
Yeah.
Also, like that's what that would be like.
Even at a 60% win rate, which is like near impossible, that would be a shit ton of games.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, my ranked win rates are skewed. I was going to bring that up, but my ranked win rates are messed up because I play ranked so selectively. But my ranked win rate has consistently been over 60% when I do climb MMR. But that's just because I play so selectively. But anyway, that's not the point. If I was playing to get 6K, I would have to play without selective conditions, and then it would definitely go down to like 52 or whatever. Anyway. So yeah, my personal goal is to hit the equivalent of 5,500 by the end of this 6 month period. The smaller goals I'm setting out to achieve during that are to be refining a very select hero pool for each pick and for each lane. So I personally am a pretty comfortable player in all lanes. I don't really like off lane, but I can feasibly do it. I want to, probably my first small goal is my easiest goal is just to refine my 5 play in terms of the new metagame and how to play around duo lanes, aggro duo lanes, how to play around a 4 that's absent, and then how to play around different safe laners. So that's my first very easily achievable goal for myself, is I'm probably going to be playing stuff like Rubik and Jakiro that I talked about on Teach Me Tuesday this week. And then other heroes like Winter Wyvern that I play myself, and Bane as well.
Wyvern is very good right now. Wyvern is like extremely top tier. And also you can't get Meepo'd if you're playing Wyvern.
That's true. That's what you got to do. If the enemy team is a mid Meepo, just screw it. Just pick Wyvern.
Yeah, that was the last game I won against a Meepo, is that we already had a Wyvern picked. And we were like, fuck yeah, they picked a Meepo? Shit, we already got Wyvern. This is dope.
Yeah, I actually legitimately think that you could just play Midwinter Wyvern just to cancel out the Meepo pick, because it would just be worth it at that point. Like, as long as your safe lane isn't like a Bloodseeker, I think you could feasibly do that if you're like a really decently hard farming safe laner.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, so those are my smaller goals. And then again, moving to safe lane, I think I want to focus on Terrorblade, and Drow. And I think
Don't play
those.
Drow in pubs, dude. What the fuck?
I like Drow in pubs. I wouldn't just
don't
pick
play-
it, but if
no,
I already
don't
have a
play Drow in
ranged
pubs,
mid
man.
laner, man, I like
You
Drow.
can't trust people to do shit.
Dude,
can't
I'm a
put
support
yourself in-
player. I have to trust people. It's in my nature.
Ugh, God.
That's actually a lie. I definitely don't trust people in my pubs.
I just Drow in pubs is just like every time I see it, like we're gonna have to play a very specific way, and we're not gonna do that, and we're gonna fucking lose.
Yeah, man, because like,
Dude, I hit 5K playing Drow. Like, trust me, don't play Drow in pubs right now.
I guess I just like Drow so much. The thing is,
Yeah,
like, my
well-
safe lane pool sucks right now. I hate all the safe laners. Like, I love AM, but he's picked
But
in like
he's good,
every
so you
game.
don't like him.
Yeah, basically, like people are getting used to playing against him, and also, yeah, he's really common, and I don't like being that guy. But I mean,
Okay.
I'm happy to play AM if it's the pick in a
What
game.
safe laners do you like that aren't good right now?
Terriblade, but
Terrorblade's
Terrorblade's not
great.
bad. Yeah, I like Terrorblade.
I'm winning like all my Terrorblade games.
Me too. Other than the one that I lost horribly the other day, I've been winning a good amount of them.
What is not good that you want to be good? Like most carries are pretty fucking good right now.
Yeah.
Slark. Slark sucks.
Oh, that's the problem actually. Is I like Slark a lot.
Oh my god.
I love Slark. He's one of my most played heroes.
I'm good at. Slark has been a very special fish to my heart too, but I still know it's repulsive.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had actually a really good Slark game. No,
Can you
I
answer my
didn't.
question?
Yeah, I'd like Slark to be good.
That's your only one.
Yeah, like Slark, AM, and Jug. Those are my three safe laners.
Jug's
and Terrorblade.
great.
Those are my four. Well, no,
Terrorblade's great.
I know both of them are great. It's more just like I don't have fun playing them. I just don't. I'm not a
Okay.
safe lane player inherently. So that's
Okay,
something I
so
need to
then,
work
yeah.
on in terms of
All
setting
right.
goals. Yeah, so I'm gonna work through all the lanes for that. I've yet to play
Void.
Beastmaster.
You like Void, right?
Oh yeah, I do like Void. Void's a
People
good
playing
one.
Battle
also.
Fury Void again, and I know you like that. I think.
God, I hate Battle Fury Void, but I
Dude,
do love
Jesus.
Void. I hate
Okay,
Battle
well, he's
Fury
good.
Void, dude. I hate Battle Fury actually just as an item. I want to
Okay.
rebel against the status quo and stop building on AM even. Yeah. So those are my goals and my overall goal. We'll see the update as that goes along. One of the problems about reaching goals and setting goals in Dota 2, especially ranked, is a lot of people set very non-linear or non-obvious goals. So one common one that I think we've all set at different points is just saying, hey, I want to get way better at playing 5. And then to do that, you say your smaller, incremental things, saying, all right, first I need to learn how to pull. Then I need to learn how to zone. Then I need to pull and zone efficiently within like the first 5 minutes to make sure this game is going well. And then I need to be paying more attention to the mid lane so that I can rotate when the enemy team rotates and I can use my TP scroll to save this person, yada, yada, yada. And then you stack things upon one another and gradually learn how to play 5. But this is that's really the answer to the question that I was posing, actually. The question is, how do you achieve a non-linear goal or like a more nebulous goal? Like, oh, how do I play 5, right? That's kind of a vague thing. Like, when you watch a good 5, they're doing so many different things at once. You need to break that down into small parts and learn each part gradually over the course of, whatever your time frame is. Especially
Sure.
if you have these deadlines, like the six months to reach a new rank. Like, that's a very clearly cut deadline, and that's what I like just in general. I love deadlines. I need deadlines to work. So I'm very excited for the new rank system. If it ever comes out, who knows?
Great.
Anyway, let's talk about Tiny and Vengeful Spirit. They're who we're going to be playing
Danny.
today. You love Tiny, and I would very
I
much
love
like you to
him.
talk about how much you love Tiny.
Can you
or more
believe
specifically
he's
about
a-
the hero.
He's a 1-star of difficulty. Toss is not something that I like. Toss is not. That's not a simple skill.
That's true.
Toss is a whole deal. Anyway, that's a little side note. What is Timbersaw 1 as well? No, Timbersaw is 2 and Tiny is 1. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
that doesn't really matter.
it doesn't really matter. You're right.
No, but I just looked at him and I was like, what the fuck?
Timbersaw has some
he, like-
nuance.
You're a fucking big boy and you do damage. You don't even have a stun. You just fucking, you're just damaged. That's all you do, and you just fly around doing damage.
Yeah, but like it takes some skill and complexity to fly around well without feeding. Especially in laning phase
This
when
is a
like you
hero
don't have
with
the ability
no
to fly
agility
around
at all.
Well, I know. I'm not saying it's not a comparable thing. You're right. A tiny's more difficult. But I mean, Timbersaw is not necessarily a 1-star candidate.
Yeah,
this doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about the arbitrary freaking Valve system of starring.
Fucking hate
Okay.
Dota. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Dota.
Tiny people figured it out. We figured out Tiny. The answer was S and Y all along.
Okay, all right, that's cool. I actually have done literally no research on this, so I'd very much like you to educate me. I've not even seen a
Okay.
tiny in my game.
Wow, you're insane. Yeah, Tiny people have like in my games at least. Like I first pick him, and people have kind of like agreed that he's the new hotness and probably actually going to get a nerf. He still has like a really bad win rate, but in pro Dota, he's at least in NA, he is fucking doing some work, as they say. Yeah, man, I don't even know where to start, honestly. Like the new style of Tiny, people are kind of talking about it like it's your constantly Sven with a slightly weaker God strength, and it's not quite that crazy, but it's kind of there. Yeah, like maxing tree grab, and then you just farm like a shit ton. You have a bunch of move speed from your grow passive, and you just like work up like a very simple kit of Aquila, Treads, and a magic wand. And that's kind of all you need, honestly. And then after that, you just go Sange and Yasha, and then a Shadow Blade, then AC, and then whatever the fuck you want after that. I like Daedalus. I'm a big Daedalus fan. But a lot of people are going BKB, and I just haven't built a BKB ever on the new Tiny. And I definitely feel like I should, but
you don't
a lot of the
anyway.
games... But a lot of the games on Tiny, I've been behind, so it's like I need to do all the damage in the world,
Yeah,
or
that's
we
fair.
lose, and I can't delay my Daedalus 4,000 gold or whatever. Yeah, he's fucking good. He's only a safe laner. Like, don't fucking play this dude mid. I was against a mid Tiny as an OD, and man, that was fucking easy.
I was gonna say that sounds like the easiest matchup in the world.
It was absurdly good. Yeah, man, I don't know. He's fucking good. What do you want to know?
Well, okay, like why is he good? Like, what does he do in a game that is so effective? Is it just straight up he just walks around dealing physical damage, or is he like played in like a pickoff role, or is he just like people are theorizing that
Yeah, I mean,
he would just run at towers?
Toss is good. He's a monster in team fights because of the status resistance from Grow. Like, the reason I don't build BKB is that everything lasts like half duration on me. Like, if I go to let's level up me to like 18 or to level 18, and let's get some basic items. We got our Treads, Aki, Wand, S and Y, and then I'll just put my Shadow Blade on for no fucking reason. All right, and with all of my powers combined, let's get these points in here. And let's see, all my powers combined, I have 17% status resistance, and then combine that with my Grow. Yeah, that's 57% reduction on things happening to me. So like, I get Astral Imprisoned by an OD, and I'm like out before he leaves. I get fucking like, I'm against a Brewmaster, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna miss now," and I'm like, "Give me a second," and I'm fucking good. Like, I sober up immediately. I'm a fucking rock. But it's just like that's just really fucking good. He still takes a lot of magic damage, but he has a talent at level 10 for 20% less magic damage, or 20% magic resistance. So I mean, I take that. There's a little bit of discrepancy between like what most people do and what the win rates are, and what like actual good players do. Like, every Tiny player goes magic resistance at 10, health at 15, and then obviously you have to get the tree grab cooldown at level 20, and then mostly you get 3 toss charges, except for in some circumstances you'll go minus 12 seconds avalanche cooldown. But the top win rates and the most picked are damage, and then avalanche damage at 10 and 15, and then whatever at 25, and everyone gets the tree grab thing at level 20. He's a big boy, man. He's a big fucking boy.
Yeah. So I'm just looking through all the guides and some of these top tier players. Have you tried Echo Saber on Tiny? I'm seeing a minority of players do this.
Yeah,
but,
it sucks. Yeah. It's not your item that you want, so like, don't get it. You want Sange and Yasha. There's no two ways about it. You're gonna get Sange and Yasha, you fucking idiot. And you're gonna get AC. And neither of those items are Echo Saber, so why the fuck am I going to build an Echo Saber?
Okay. I mean,
I want a Shadow Blade too.
That simplifies it a bit, I suppose.
The burst is incredible. Like, one of the really cool things about tree grab is when you toss your tree, it's not an auto attack. It's, like an ability that does your auto attack's worth of damage. So you can do, like auto attack, auto attack, tree grab, and then another auto attack, and like that's in the space of three auto attacks. You put out 4 auto attacks worth of damage. Or I mean, you can even just do like auto attack tree, and that's that's basically like an Echo Saber worth of damage without needing to buy an Echo Saber. But of course, if you have an Echo Saber, you can do 3 attacks, in the space of 1, which is like obviously nice, but it's way better to just not have that.
Okay, that makes sense.
I feel like every hero with Echo Saber, if you're not making use of the slow on it, you're probably not a good Echo Saber user. I mean, this is true for almost every item. There are very few items where if you don't take advantage of every aspect of the item, it's still a good item for you. Short of things like, they have, or like with old Diffusal Blade, they have Ghost Scepters, I need Diffusal Blade to purge it, which is no longer the case, but it was. And like, yeah, that's, maybe you're a strength hero, you don't take advantage of agility, but whatever. But for Echo Saber, like, I'm tiny. I'm going to blink, and I need to immediately avalanche because it has like a fucking quarter-second delay on actually happening outside of the cast time. And then I'm going to like toss them. And in that space of time, my Echo Saber has already gone off. I'm not like Sven where I can like blink, do the double hit, and then stun on most people. Just don't like fuck Echo Saber. You need your Sanjin Yasha. Like I have 452 like passive move speed at level 18 right now. Like Sanjin Yasha is dope. I take my Sanjin Yasha off, I'm at 390. This item gives me fucking 62 move speed. That's unreal good.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Big number.
And the Shadow Blade, why are you prioritizing Shadow Blade over Blink? Because it used to be a choice between the two, but now it's just Shadow Blade.
gives me attack speed, and Blink doesn't. And it lets me get out of fights, which is a big deal because I'm not really initiating them. Like Tiny is kind of like PA in that you want to like really be selective about your engagements. And so like you want to be able to like Shadow Blade in, and you're still a burst hero, but you're not like pick off, but you do have like a big burst combo. So like what you want to do is a team fight starts, and either you like can walk up to your target and beat their face in, or and then if you do that, you can like, after you use up your tree, you can Shadow Blade back, pick up another tree, and then go back in because the cooldown on tree grab happens after you use up the tree entirely. So like, no matter which way you cut it, after 5 attacks in your throw, you're gonna need another tree. But only like 15 seconds later. So that kind of sucks until you get that talent where you only have to wait 5 seconds. But yeah, like Shadow Blade is just perfect in that it can get you in or it can take you out. And dying on Tiny fucking sucks because he's kind of like Sven, where he just like you just want to farm a fuck ton. That's all you do. You just fucking farm it up. Just be a little farmer boy.
Yeah, until you hit critical mass and then you just win.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, you're fighting the whole time too, but like you want to farm very fast. I think that's one of my main issues on the hero is that I haven't been like farming lanes as much as I should be. And that's kind of been more or less, I think, some of my issue on this patch as a carry in general is like the jungle is just way worse than lanes. But more often than not, I find myself like relegated to jungle while my lanes are like, pushed out by other people or, random shit like that. But that's, my personal issue. But yeah, like he's fucking Tiny. He's good, man. He's fucking great.
Okay, so how has his play style fundamentally changed, right? Because we all know, like, oh man, Tiny's gonna blink, he's gonna combo you, etc. Now it's more of the like straight brawler, either however a fight gets initiated, just walk in and punch people a bunch. Is that the playstyle rather?
I'm trying to think of like what hero I would most closely like tie it to. It's a little bit like Chaos Knight, I want to say. But I would say, who is the closest to this? I don't know, man. I think Chaos Knight is pretty good. It's just that he doesn't have it's like Chaos Knight kind of without a pull-in. I don't know. Like you just fucking walk up to someone and then you stun them.
Be like a Sven without a blink.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's pretty good. A Sven without a blink, but you have 5 Sanjin Yasha's worth of move speed on you at all times, and you don't have a Mask of Madness, so you can use your spells. But yeah, like you find, like you don't want to start the fight yourself, and if you do, you want to, like do your little combo, do your hits, and then back off. But yeah, like a fight happens, and then you insert yourself in like the safest kind of area, and then you just try to like cleave in a good direction and just beat the shit out of like one person. And then after that's done, you just kind of like back up and then,
have another tree or just like be tossing shit in the background. Like a lot of my fights, I go into it and I like absorb a lot of crowd control and I take a bunch of damage and then I leave. And then I'm sitting there at like, 20% or something, letting my wand slowly gain charges. And I'm just sitting on the back, like, tossing every so often if I want to. But I'm mostly just like, I pick up a tree and then I throw it. And then I wait and then I pick up another tree and then I just fucking keep lobbing trees at people every, like 15 seconds or 5 seconds. And then I'm also tossing shit the whole time too. So like he can do that kind of PA thing where you're just like in the back lines throwing daggers like very effectively. My trees are doing like 400 damage when I'm level 18. My tosses rather. And then my tosses themselves, my tree toss is doing about 400 and then my tosses are, doing 300 or so. Yeah, I don't even know how to say, like, it's honestly kind of intuitive to play. It's just the issue is like the hardest thing about him is really understanding how much you should be balancing your farming versus your fighting and how okay it is for you to like go into a fight that you might die in. I feel like he's very similar to there was like one other hero that was like really, really like this, where you had to farm to like a certain critical mass that it's like, kind of like Monkey King. Like after you get your Battle Fury, you still don't want to fight. You actually want to get your Battle Fury and then your Echo Saber, and then you still don't want to fight. You really want to get your Battle Fury, your Echo Saber, and then your BKB, or your Echo Saber and then your Deso. And then you're okay with fighting. But if you have the Deso, you want to be very safe. And then once you have the BKB, you want to fight. Like, yes, you're a very fight-oriented hero, but you're not going to take a questionable engagement. You're just not going to do it because it's the critical mass that's going to win the game for you, not, some fight at level 12 where you're going to, take 90% of your health no matter what you do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm interested to see it. Like I said, I mean, I played one game of 7.07 Tiny. I didn't play the game, but I had one in one of my games in 7.07. But I know he got changed a bit in 7.07B. So I'm excited to see you play it, that's for sure. If I remember correctly, the one was very underwhelming that I saw previously. So let's talk about Venge for a bit. Why? So specifically, when we were talking pre-show deciding what we were going to play, I asked, what's good with Tiny, and Prad said Ogre, and I said there's absolutely no way I'm playing Ogre. That hero is maddening. And so now I'm going to be playing Venge. So why is Venge good with Tiny? Like, what is their natural synergy? Is it just because he has a lot of base damage and she buffs base damage?
That's a big part of it, honestly. Like the last game I played with a Tiny in it is when I was OD, and we had this Tiny that was just going buck stupid. And yeah, he has about 300 base damage when he's level 18. And what is Venge's aura actually? She has like a talent to buff it up too.
It's 34 at max. Does she have a talent?
Yeah, so it's about 100 damage that you give me. And then your talent increases it by another 15%.
Yeah, 15% at 20. So that's 29% additional damage.
Yeah, that's 45 more damage. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, 34. So it's 49. Yeah, sorry, I can't read.
Yeah, so it's
although
a total
you are
of,
taking that instead of 4 seconds less magic missile cooldown. But
either way, the point is that there's a possibility that you can give me 150 damage or at worst it's 100 additional damage, which is a shit ton. If you think about a lot of like Shadow Fiend, why is Shadow Fiend a carry? Because he has built-in 72 damage. And your passive gives me more than the reason that Shadow Fiend is a carry. And then also, I mean, he also has Presence of the Dark Lord. But, that's enough to make someone a carry. What? Oh, yeah,
I have Wave
that's
of Terror,
true. And
right?
you have Wave of Terror, so good enough.
Yeah, I'm basically the support Shadow Fiend. I give Shadow Fiend all of his kit to somebody else.
That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, so you give me that shit. You can save me with Swap, which, that's true for everyone. And you have like a single target stun. Like Venge doesn't have the best disable in the world, but I kind of make up for that pretty well. And I'm sure there's some stupid bullshit we can do with both Toss and Nether Swap at the same time. I'm sure that's like there's no real synergy, but there's some bullshit that I'm sure that will happen. Like I'll fucking toss back and then you swap them and then they'll be too far away from both of us for us to do anything about it.
Yeah. Also, like I'll probably go, or not probably, but I may go Aether Lens, depending on our team comp. And then I'll have even more swap range. That's the dream. I mean, I haven't played that much Venge recently. She's getting played a lot as a carry in High MMR and in some pro games. But like you were saying during the Weekend Dota segment, you are really enjoying her as a support and having a lot of success on her, right?
Yeah, I'm stomping out playing her. I think I've mostly been I played her as a 5 the last time I played her. But yeah, I was like 5-3 and 20 or something, like just stomping the shit out of everything. Like the minus armor is still good. Her talents are just fucking great, honestly. Like, and she farms like really well. Her auto attack just feels incredible, and you can get like any item you want. Like this game, I had I went like Glimmer Cape, Blink, and Solar Crest or whatever, and we were against like there was a Veno and a and we were against a Void, which is why I picked it. You know, I would just like Solar Crest whoever Void was hitting, and then I would swap out the next person that he went to, and then I would Glimmer Cape after the chrono ended, and you know, like get away. It was just like, this fucking hero is great. And then also with Tiny, I mean, the other thing with Tiny is that if someone dies under Venge Aura, right, they come back and they're beating the shit out of people. So if I'm Tiny and I die, like my illusion does a ton of fucking damage, so it's fine. They're still gonna die.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen for Venge's passive that spawns all the ghosts and stuff, I've seen it be incredibly underwhelming in virtually every single time I've seen it, but it does have really interesting, strong potential. I just kind of think I've been in situations where it has not shown through to be good.
Yeah, part of that is like, if it's a team fight where people are dying, you're probably losing it, and that won't really change the tide of it for the most part. But if any fight is salvageable or whatever, like that, at worst, dying under that thing, which is, again, like a perk that she got, you know, basically for free, you're probably going to put out at least 100 physical damage. No cost to your team or whatever. I mean, if you're a core like Tiny, you're going to put out, 300, 400 or something like that. But I mean, it's something. I've died to it before, so it hasn't been completely useless 100% of the time.
Yeah, it stops blinks too, which is, that's a big deal. Enough of a reason to get it. I mean, not that you have to work to get it. You just get it passively. I like, you mentioned that she just is good at farming, and as is known, I like playing support, even 5, a bit greedier, and the ability for people to farm when they are playing a 5 is something that is drastically underrated in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
People like, let's see, I played a game recently where I really noticed this. I can't remember what hero it was.
Skyrath?
Skyrath, well, yeah, I mean, Skyrath you can kind of farm with your what's it called? Your arcane bolts. Maybe my most recent Rubik game. I just, for whatever reason, was having an off game, and I was just terrible at farming. And I was like, I don't deal a lot of damage right now. Why was I farming? I think like my carry just kept dying, and I just kept sitting in lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a PL, and he was like really aggressive. I can't recall, but I do vividly remember just trying to CS creeps, and I thought I dealt more damage than I did, and I was just miserable. And so playing a hero like Venge, and even if you only have a 1-point aura, because normally you're going to be maxing your Vengeful Bolt thing first. Magic Missile, yeah. What a generic name. It's
like literally the most generic spell from like Dungeons and Dragons and shit.
Yeah. I was going to say in Dota for a long time, right, Slardar, all his abilities were literally what they did.
Yeah.
It was like sprint, crush, minus armor, or whatever the heck his name was. His ult was. Yeah, his bash is literally called bash. And amplified damage, that's what his ult used to be. Anyway, yeah, so I'm excited to be able to play a support that has a bit more scaling potential just in terms of easy farming, and I can't mess that up, can I? So yeah, I mean that's about that. Itemization, like I said, very
level
flexible.
10 and 15 talents are so fucking good. Like the -6 second wave of terror cooldown, like holy shit, man! Like a 4-second cooldown wave of terror. You know how much vision that gives you?
A lot.
It's a lot. It's 3 seconds of vision each one you put out. So you can. That's like 75% uptime of a huge fucking like lance of vision.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And yeah, like her level 10 talents are plus 15% magic resistance or 1 less wave of terror armor. So you could be every 4 seconds wave of terroring for -7 armor on everybody affected. Yeah, that's 120 damage too. So that's
and it's pure damage. Oh no, it's magical. I thought it was pure at some point.
Oh, it pierces
spell immunity. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, she definitely feels real good. It is hard to work around, especially if you're used to playing other supports. That Magic Missile has such a small cast range. Let's see, what is the exact cast range? The cast range is, I can't tell. It's pretty low though. Isn't it like 600 or something?
I don't know. You mean probably. It says on Dota 2 wiki, but
Yeah, I was on Dota Buff, as I frequently am. Cast range
yeah,
500.
there's no reason to do that. Okay,
Dude, Dota Buff's great. All right, don't hate.
but not for like looking up things.
That's true. Anyway, yeah. So let's hop on the game, shall we? And we will be back after this. Before we break, I will read our Unicorn ad for today. So, as everybody knows by now, Unicorn is your premier esports outlet. You can earn tokens, which are Unicoin Gold, just by playing your favorite games. The link for that, I believe, is unicorn.com. That's unikrn.com/connect, CONNEKT, because they're fancy. And, that's how you got to have that SEO, by spelling things interestingly. That is a way to earn free coins that you can bet. You can also enter raffles and get cosmetics, stuff like that. I've been checking out the system. It's pretty interesting. I think next week we might have a slightly different ad that'll go a little more deeply into that. They also have all kinds of other Dota 2 content. They have articles. They have, like we said, all the pro stuff regarding betting and whatnot. And real money betting, of course, if you are in the UK or Australia. Yeah, that's about that for Unicorn. That's UNIKRN.
Just saying. Remember last week we talked about that LGDFY and Vici game. 2-0 for Vici. So
Yep. We're 100% win rate. We're rolling in Unicoin Silver. We don't have any Unicoin Gold yet, but we have Unicoin Silver, and that's something. So yeah, just listen to us every other week, and you'll make tons and tons.
Yeah,
Dude,
we should do a
dope.
game that's coming up now instead of one that would pass by the time the episode came out.
Well, it was a good game, all right, to be fair. And also we won, so it doesn't matter. We got to keep the betting secrets to ourselves,
as long as
dude.
we're winning, yeah.
We got to keep the secrets to ourselves, otherwise we're going to spread it and like our odds are going to go down. Anyway, that's that. Well, God, all right. Before we go any deeper into insider trading, let's hop into our game.
Okay, here we go. Theorycraft Thursday, round 1. The stage of fate is set. Ready? Fight!
Jesus, all right.
Fuck, man. Fuck.
Oh, boy. All right, hello, everybody. We are back. We've just completed our game. It was... It was all right. You know, we've had worse games, that's for sure. We've had better games, though. It was a loss at the end, as you tell by our fancy intro or fancy mid-roll music. Transition, that's the word.
Thank you.
So, team comps. The enemy team, they had a mid lane Alina. They had an off lane Centaur played by a listener named Unpawn.
And that's unpawned, like PWN is as an owned.
Pwn? I think of it as like pawned.
Well, that's not what it is, so.
Okay, all right.
That's like a Dota thing. Like it's said blank pwned blank.
I know.
Like isn't killed.
It said blank pwned blank's head or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess I've just always read that wrong. I always thought it was like pawn, like a pawn shop. Instead of like...
So you said people were pawning other people's heads? No, so do you know what that comes from?
No, I don't.
There was a typo in Warcraft 3 where I think it was like, it wasn't something, but it was supposed to be like something owned someone, but they spelled it with a P instead of an O by accident because their characters are next to each other. So then the running joke in, like a lot of Warcraft 3 custom games was they spelled owned like pwned, and that's why people would be like, oh, I pwned that noob, because it's just more fucking shitty gamer speak.
Man, I honestly did not know that. I thought it was pawn. I've said pawn my entire life.
Oh my God.
All right, well, the more you know.
I'm glad I can teach you.
They had a safelane Faceless Void, and they had a duo support of Crystal Maiden and Dark Willow. The supports roamed a fair bit. They roamed mid nigh constantly, but they also completely dominated the offlane. They didn't ever come up to our lane, though, until, once laning phase was over. Our team had a safe lane duo lane of Vengeful Spirit and Tiny, played by myself and Proud. We had a mid lane Invoker, and we had an off-lane dual lane of Wraith King and Sand King. The Wraith King left the off-lane to jungle after he was level 4 or so. And Proud and I both had the sneaking suspicion that this Wraith King must be a bot, because I've literally never seen...
That suspicion.
I had that suspicion.
You have that suspicion.
I will say, honest to God, I've never seen somebody play this badly while being silent in a game at any MMR I've ever played at. That's a legitimate point. His items were all nonsense. That like, it was just weird. Like he would just run in weird circles and stuff. And I know I'm wrong. I know it's not a bot. I'm sure it's just some stupid person that's bad. But man, it was.
Yeah,
it was just.
I mean,
it was mind-boggling. The things that the choices this person was making.
If any regular human player were actually a bot, like I don't know if this guy would pass the Turing test. I don't know if it's accurate, but I don't know. Anyway,
I think I can say conclusively that this person would not have passed the Turing test.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. So yeah, and this. Oh God. All right. We need to have like a segment that's just a minute of complaining about our team, and we just get it all
we just
off.
delete it. Yeah, we need to do a separate recording for it.
Yeah.
And then we just will tell Juice to not put that one on.
You'd think that's what like the 45-minute VOD would be, but no, it carries over. Anyway, yeah, so this did end up being a loss. It was 41-26. We did not get a lot of towers. We really couldn't play on the offensive. The flow of this game, essentially, and correct me if you feel differently, because you and I played like very different sides of the map for a lot of this. But my interpretation of how this game went was essentially that their Faceless Void free farm safe lane, their supports roaming as a duo won both mid lane and safe lane. The pairing of Dark Willow with Crystal Maiden was really effective because they just had a ton of CC in the early game for a really long time. And what they were doing is they were using freezing, what's it called? Freezing touch? Frostbite. To freeze the person in place, and then they were placing Dark Willow's traps on top of them, so they would immediately be rerouted right as the frostbite ended. And then on top of that, they had the Dark Willow crown thing rolling already, so people were just CC'd for like an incredibly long period of time. Like you pointed out later, like unless you had a Manta or a Dispel or a Dodge or something, you were not going to get out of this. So it was a really mean combination.
And so we had like an invoker who doesn't build any of those. I mean, he can get a Yules, but he's still going to be in the same place, and it's pretty easy to chrono someone who is Yulesed in the air.
Or to Lena ult them. Lena LSA them.
Lena stun, you can help Lena set up her stun, and Centaur too. Like, this is not a good it's just not a good situation to be in with anyone that we had on our team.
Yeah, and on top of that, Invoker just lost to Lena. Like, I think he died to Lena before they were even rotating. So it was just a rough game. Our lane went very well though. At least that's something, right? We you farmed pretty well. We killed Centaur like three times. I want to say 3 times.
Yeah, I want to say 3. And I was thinking like a lot of the times I'm playing offlane, like I'm dying about that much. And I'm like, like it's fine to die that much. But we also were able to do that as a dual lane when normally I'm against like a full on tri lane that's beating the shit out of me. So. And like we had a lot of damage. I think we could have killed him more, but it's just like
probably
at some point we were just like, oh, do we want to kill him? And then we just did. A little bit of being uncomfortable with how much damage we're actually able to put out. But like we got several kills that were like no setup. It was like he was even close to their tower, and we just like stun, toss back, right clicks, easy game.
Yeah, I definitely was unfamiliar with your kill potential and I'm so familiar with Tiny having to get close to combo somebody to deal maximum damage, whereas now you don't need to do that. Like, you don't need to avalanche combo somebody. So I was thinking
you actually never really needed to avalanche combo. Most people, or rather the good Tiny players are spacing their spells out, so they just get the maximum crowd control. But
yeah. But so I was thinking like, oh man, you're not close enough. But then it turned out you were totally close enough, and I was just unfamiliar.
Yeah.
So yeah, our lane went fine though. That's the grand scheme of things. I misplayed at one point, and I should have gotten both bounty runes, but I was just a little bit behind the Centaur, and he got them.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to zone the Centaur. The only times we really zoned him, quote unquote, were when he was dead, because he just had so much health and so much armor and resistance, and I don't have the base damage to deal with that early game, that we killed him occasionally, but anytime we didn't kill him, he could just kind of soak in lane and get some CS. And
that's like what happens when you have one support, right? Like, we could kill him, but that would require me to be leaving the lane, and if he's just like tarrying around outside of the lane, like I'm not just gonna like keep running up and being like, get out of here, until we're actually gonna kill him. So I mean, if we identified we should kill him earlier, but also like until level 3, I've just got a point in avalanche and a point in toss. Like I don't have my tree or nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was our safe lane, and then the enemy safe lane. the Faceless Void just free farmed. Let's see. In a 39-minute game, he had 716 GPM and almost 27k net worth.
Yeah,
So
I'm
he was
looking
just
at
way ahead.
the laning stage a little bit. Invoker's actually like up on Lina and farm. It's just that we're actually, I mean, in creep score, but the deaths obviously take a toll. And I'm only a few CS behind Faceless Void, even though we're killing the center the whole time. So it's not like too bad. But as time goes on and
It accumulates. It builds.
Yeah. By like 10 minutes, it became like a 6 CS lead because we were still killing Centaur and that sort of thing, and Wraith King was doing my hard camp that I wanted to do.
Yeah,
And
he was
it
also
just
doing the
kinda-
small camp. He was doing a lot.
You got a little bit out of control.
He really
but
needed to build those phase boots.
The phase boots are important. The real thing that really fucked us up was like the 4-man rotation top that happened like several times.
Yeah.
Oh, and then my one death where I could have killed Lina, but I didn't. I think I could have killed her. How much else did you have? 600? No, probably not. I probably couldn't have done that. 600,
yeah.
Let's see. How much would I do? 225, another 120, and I get 3 auto attacks off? No, I would have been close. I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, you were in a real hard spot there. I also I TP'd, but I was not able to get to you in time. Because I think I maybe could have swapped you if you had ran the opposite way, but then I think you would have died because they would have intercepted you. So yeah, it was just, no pun intended, you were in between a rock and a hard place. One big thing I noticed this game that I've noticed a little bit in since the patch came out, but not really strongly until right now, is that when we had lost our mid tier 1, it was so hard to get to that area of the map by TPing. There was a fight by river in mid, and I was just like, I can't get there. Like, any place I TP to is going to take me 15 seconds to run.
Even the shrines, or the offlane shrine, you have to walk around a fucking cliff.
It's incredibly circuitous and just awkward to do. So
that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's just unnecessarily long, which is not the definition of circuitous at all. But But yeah, I noticed that a lot. I've not been thinking about that too much recently, but man, that really sucked. Obviously the mid tower is the most important tower on the map, but the most important tier 1. But boy, yeah, it really sucked you lose control of so much of the map at that point.
Yeah, and we just never took their tier 1. So any fight that happened, they had pretty good ways to get to anything that we did. It made split pushing very difficult.
Yeah, they had good wave clear, but on top of that, one of their big advantages was they had a lot of long range CC, where they had Lina's not super long range, but LSA is decent range. Then of course they had Centaur Blink, but the bigger things was they had Dark Willow that would just put down a zoning ult that is just absolutely humongous. And on top of that, Faceless Void could just pop in and chrono you. And he did Battle Fury Mask of Madness, which you were talking about Battle Fury Void earlier, and I'm kind of inspired by this guy, so I might have to play a bit of that.
It's pretty solid.
So yeah, it was mean. It was mean. Let's see, what else really stuck out to you about this game? How did you feel specifically about Tiny and Venge?
Yeah, so the main issue that I had is there was a second death. There was the first death that was okay, we killed Centaur pretty deep, and then they TP'd, whatever. We forced 3 TPs, and I tried to TP out and it didn't work. Whatever, shit happens. But the second death, I identified that they had a ward that saw me, but I thought I could catch the Lina, and then we turned it into a team fight, but like you said, you had 8 seconds until TP, and then I saw a TP happening about 6 seconds later, and I thought it was you, but it was actually the Sand King rewatching this, and it was just not great. And then I come in and I try to catch the Lina, but the CM is where I thought the Lina was, so instead I combo a CM, and it's not good. And then I die there. But in all honesty, we could have just given up the tower, and I could have just farmed and had my S&Y finished a minute earlier, and that would be 45 seconds or probably a minute 15 earlier to getting my Shadow Blade, and then I could have maybe gotten a pick off a bit earlier before the game was kind of hopeless, and that could have done something. But the main thing is that that fight that I went to unnecessarily, it could have been a good fight, but it wasn't worth the risk. Like I said earlier, that you really want to just get that critical mass of items so you can fuck shit up. And in going for a unnecessary fight like that, I was not able to get there. Whether or not I would have been able to get there if I didn't go to that fight or not doesn't really matter. The point is that going to that fight, just put it in jeopardy kind of for no real reason.
Yeah, I definitely, from the Vengeful Spirit perspective, I kind of felt There were a lot of fights where I just felt like I couldn't do anything. Like I could not get
Yeah.
close enough to use a magic missile because I would either get chronoed or I would not be able to save somebody from chrono, or I would just get caught in Dark Willow stuff. I got caught in Dark Willow's brambles so many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And it was just they had so much control. They had so much AoE control. I think that was really and AoE damage on top of that. That I was just
we really just
yeah.
we had nothing for the chronosphere. Like we had no real long range initiation besides like
tanking.
blink burrow strike, and that's like you're not going to kill a faceless void in the duration of a burrow strike. And even if you do get all up on him, like they've got Lena, and then like they've got like 2 AoE stuns, and then like a couple single targets, and
they just fear you.
Crystal
with
Maidens, yeah,
Dark
they have
Willow.
the fear also. Yeah, so they have a bunch of AoE disable, and then freezing field to like kill us while we do it. Like we just couldn't hop on one boy. And that's just kind of the issue that you get when you have a jungle phase boot soul ring BKB Wraith King.
Yeah, that certainly did not help our issues.
It was a little bit of a kind of issue, huh?
Yeah, so for my build, I went brown boots, urn, and of course I built a wand. And then I went mana boots and transferred that into an Aether Lens. I really like the Aether Lens. I like Proud pointed out earlier, we didn't really have any mana boots carriers other than Sand King on our team, and we have a pretty mana dependent team. So I liked having the mana boots. It did take me a little while to buy, but that was just because I had to rotate a lot, and I was not the only one buying wards, but I was buying the majority of the wards. So I was a bit starved. And also I had and we need a lot of sentries because they were warding really well, and also they had Alina with the Shadow Blade.
Yeah.
So it was a bit taxing on the 5, which is fine. But yeah, eventually I built the Aether Lens. It was nice. I wouldn't say like it's not as transformative. Yeah. It was just I feel like I should have kept the mana boots and then built something else and then maybe finished out an Aether Lens later. I just I underestimated
maybe a glimmer or something because they have so much fucking magic damage.
Yeah, probably.
Like someone gets caught by CM, you glimmer them.
Yeah, I underestimated how long level 2 Venge swap is because level 1 Venge swap is so short range.
Yeah,
but
it's
level
like
2
nothing.
Venge swap is not incredibly long, but it is feasibly long to use in like most situations. Whereas since I'm not a Venge player, I was thinking it was shorter than it was. So we had one fight where I had just hit level 12 and I used swap, and I was surprised myself by how far I swapped. And after that, I was like, well, I've already have a Void Stone. Like, I'm committed to this Aether Lens. So yeah, in retrospect, I probably would have waited and bought an Aether Lens like super late. Because I think later on, the Aether Lens would be totally worth it for Magic Missile, especially once you get the BKB piercing talent. That would have been big, but obviously we didn't get there. So yeah, I think you're right. I think Glimmer Cape would have been best to get first after my Urn and Wand and Mana Boots, and then build the Aether Lens later. It was all right. I was thinking about building a Medallion, but they had so much magic damage this game that there was really no point.
Yeah,
So,
it wouldn't have been a great defensive option.
Yeah. So your itemization, you were talking about your super late game
this-
items also, especially.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of like general build advice, I think is best if you talk about it very, very kind of generally, because it doesn't like if someone is looking for build advice, chances are they don't have the amount of like knowledge or skill with the hero in general to actually be able to judge when to pick up what situational items. So I'll just say as a whole, like this build will not do you wrong. You get get like Wand, Shreds, and Aquila. Always do that. Never don't do that. Those like 3 very simple cores, and then always go into Sanjinyasha next. For the most part, I want to say like 95% of the time, get a Shadow Blade after that. Like it's just good. And then after that, probably AC. And then it gets a little bit iffy. So like after I finished my AC, I was like, if I wait to get a BKB for my next damage item, we're not like, even if we get a great initiation, we're not going to kill them and it doesn't matter. So it's like, okay, I want a Daedalus so that I can actually just get the fucking kills. Maybe I'll get a lucky set of crits and that's how we win. But I've also been building a lot of rapiers lately. So I decided that I was going to get a rapier. Rapiers are actually great. And I don't know what like corrupt politician has convinced us that we don't deserve rapiers and that we shouldn't, chase our destinies.
Yep, chase your dreams.
it's fucked up that no one builds rapiers. They're great. They're really good.
Can you actually talk about that a little bit? Just because I remember having a conversation, I believe it was with Cody Meister, about rapier just in general, and I'm a very rapier apprehensive player. God, I don't know. I don't think, basically. I'm a defensive player. It's just ridiculous. I never buy rapiers. I legitimately don't think I've ever... No, I bought a couple rapiers here and there.
All right, so let me paint you a picture. So there was a game I got a rapier on a Luna against a Medusa, where it was like the only reason, like we almost won the game. It was so close. We went from being like super behind to I got my rapier and we almost pulled it back. Let me see this game. And it was like an hour and 10 minutes just because of this rapier. Let's see, what did I do? Yeah, so I got this rapier against this like crazy farmed Medusa, and we just like stomped the team fights. We were at a point where if I died and had to buy back, I don't even think I had buyback, but we were at a point where like if a bad thing happened, the game was out of control anyways. Like we were already just fucked, and one more kill would kind of like push us over the edge. And the issue with my engagement was like the only way I could kill Dusa is if I just fucking like I had to like run up on her and get right clicks and get them to bounce, and that just like wasn't feasible. So instead I got a rapier and I just like threw all my auto attacks from the outside, and all my like glaives were bouncing for like 400 damage. And then like by the time things mattered, I could man fight the Dusa and I'd bounce off all her glaives and just like beat the shit out of her. And it was great. Like we just held on forever. Like if I died, then so what? And even then I did die, and they got the rapier, but a Rubik picked it up because, you know, it was frantic. And then I got it back because we killed them. Like, if it's at the point where your enemy... And, like, Dusa is one of the best rapier carriers in the game. But if I was against a hero like, I don't know, if I was against Sven or something, like, rapier isn't that much better than a Daedalus for a Sven. Like, it's not that crazy. And Sven doesn't want to drop, you know, his, like, BKB or his Blink or something for a rapier. Like, most heroes, when they're going buck stupid, if they're 6-slotted, a rapier is, like, a side grade or a bit of an upgrade. You know, it's not that big a deal if you lose it and then they get it. Like, you still kind of need to blow them out of the water to get a kill on them either way if it's, you know, the enemy carry. Or a support picks it up and you just fucking get it back.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It like, is. Yeah. Do you think people are unnecessarily worried about buying rapiers because it has like the looming threat of just being like, oh God, I'm just going to feed it away and then we're going to lose instantly?
Like, I mean, you know, play relatively safe with it, but I really do think, and obviously some heroes don't use rapier that well, so it's not great to get, but like every time I've bought a rapier in the last forever, it's been like the only reason that either I won or I almost won a game. Like I got it on a PA a while ago on a game where we were against like 3 hard carries, and it was just like me, PA, and a Magnus, me on PA and with a Magnus, and like fucking the rapier brought it back, and we were able to actually fight them, and we won that game, like just off the back of, you know, like a rapier dagger crit. Like I don't know, like who, like maybe your life stealer, you know, rapier's not that great, but like there are so many times when you're in a game where if you die, the game
you're gonna
is
lose
pretty
anyway.
Much fucked. Yeah, like it's not 100% loss, but like, you know, I don't do enough damage to kill Medusa. And also, like, I'll have a buyback, but if I die, my team's probably already dead too, because I'm only engaging in these team fights. Like, I can't die, buy back, and then TP. Like, my team's dead in those 5 seconds. They're just fucking dead. If they manage to kill me, everything's going to shit anyways. So it's like, I'll just get a rapier. Like, what? I can't beat them, or I wouldn't be in this position. So I'm gonna get a rapier so that I can fucking change all of the math in this game around how they're gonna play around us and how we play around them.
Yeah. I think that's
it's just great.
I think that's definitely the most important point in my book, is that we do hit late games so frequently on safe laners and mids, and you just think, all right, like I just bought back, or maybe I didn't buy back, and if I die, we're going to lose. If you're going to lose, if you die, you may as well get a rapier, because you know the downsides do not matter at that point, right? The downside to rapier is you lose it if you die, but if you die and lose anyway, then it doesn't matter. Like, sure, go for it.
And like worst case scenario, they swap out one of their already really good items for the rapier, and then like, okay, if
their support gets it, as is common.
if we kill you, like, and most of the times that you kill enemy super farmed carries, it's because you like catch them and you just stunlock the shit out of them and kill them. Like if the enemy carry is hitting you in a fight, you've probably already lost that fight. Outside of a 2-second BKB that you need to force staff from, but because they have the rapier, Sven one-shotted you or something. But for the most part, like if their faceless void has a rapier, if he catches in Chrono, we're fucking dead anyways. He's 6-slotted. Like, what would it matter? Like, if I had a rapier and gave it to Void that game, what would have changed about that game? Like, we already died in Chrono. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, if you just have it, like, who gives a fuck? He's already too strong.
Yeah, so
I like rapier. Rapier's awesome. And if you are down 2 Raxes and you feel behind and you don't feel like you have the damage to just kill people, get a rapier. And then like a team fight where you both are able to burst each other in 1 second, that is way better than a team fight where you need to like desperately play around a bunch of crazy shit.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So any other comments about this game overall?
Now just like on Tiny, don't like go for risky fights. Just like you need to farm a fuck ton. Like way more, like any time where you're like, oh, I think I farmed enough. The answer is no. Like get a 14-minute S and Y and then an 18-minute Shadow Blade. And if you're not getting those, fucking farm more. Not doing it right.
Yeah. All right.
14's a little much, but like if you don't get it by 15, I mean obviously it's kind of unrealistic. That's like roughly where our Arteezy got his in some of the replays I was watching, but. The fact is that it's possible. So if you're not getting it, by around that time, that there's like some way to farm to improve it. And like farming speed is not, it's not like Manta dodging a fucking disruptor glimpse. It's like it's just identifying what's around you. So if you know that there should be more farm that you're getting in some of your games, like just look around. It's like that.
Yeah.
Just look. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to look at
Figure
things.
it out.
Fucking figure it out.
So you can watch the VODs of this game on our YouTube channel. God, now I wish I knew our custom link if we changed our custom link. I believe it's still under .ptv1, but it may have been converted. You could just look it up in YouTube. Just look up Theorycraft Thursday.
I'm sure you're
and you'll
all
find
already
it.
subscribed either way, so you'll see it
I
there.
hope so. You can follow us on Patreon. We got some Patreon updates probably dropping the next week. We are transferring over the Doppy Patreon like we mentioned on Teach Me Tuesday. We've got all new rewards. Some of the same rewards, but a lot of new rewards. We have personalized rewards from both myself, Proud, and B that are, I think, all three of us are much more excited about those than anything else. They should be a lot of fun to do and a lot of fun to get. So yeah, that'll be fun. Look out for that. We'll do a much more complete plug once that's all finalized and whatnot. We don't have an exact date, but that'll be in like the next week. You can follow us on Twitter at Fourth Spirit. That's FOURTH Spirit. You can follow me at Ursinity. We can follow Proud at Proud Dota. You can tell a friend about our show. That's the best way to support us. You can also leave us iTunes reviews or, anywhere else. I don't know. You could review us just into like the void something. Maybe not this void, not like a faceless void, but just like shout like from a rooftop and just say, hey, listen to these Dota podcasts.
Don't actually do that, though.
Probably don't, actually. You'll probably get noise complaints.
Who even has rooftops anymore?
I don't know. The wealthy, probably. I
Fucking
certainly.
bourgeoisie.
People that live in apartments have rooftops, or people that live in like city apartments.
Right. No, you're absolutely correct.
Sometimes you're not allowed to go on the rooftop. I know because I got kicked off a rooftop because you're not allowed to be on some rooftops for safety reasons. Is that why? Yeah, I think like they don't like drunk people being up on rooftops because they die.
There or what?
No, I think too many people fall off rooftops after drinking.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just a hazard.
Gargoyles that fuck people up on rooftops.
Well, it's
like late at night and they animate at that point, and then Goliath is there. He picks you up and brings you.
I think it's more because the gargoyles chip and fall off and they crush people.
That's the other thing. Well, if Batman and Spider-Man are like lounging on them way too much, that tends to happen.
Yeah. It stresses.
They pose on gargoyles so much. Yeah,
it's very unsafe.
They have all this equipment, weighs them down. Like, could you just not?
Yeah, they just care about looking cool. They don't care about public safety at all. Well, I can't believe our tax dollars are going to pay for Bruce Wayne. Gosh, all right. Anyway,
it's kind of unreal.
So, we probably forgot some plugs, but that's okay. This has been Theorycraft Thursday. It's been our theory, and if it didn't work out, well, just blame your Wraith King. That's probably a bot.
He's probably a bot.